Howdy, folks. I'm a busy brewer's blackbird breezing by brown bats.
I'm Amber.
And here are more brown bats for us to breeze by. Because we're blackbirds, just like the SR-71 blackbird. And that means we're going really fast. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling Everyone at My Friend's Wedding the reason her sister wore white was due to her never going to be getting married? I have a friend that I've known since kindergarten, and I was the maid of honor at her wedding yesterday. Her sister has always been a drama llama. Yesterday was her wedding, and her sister Abby showed up in a white/cream colored dress. My friend was very upset by this, but I told her not to worry and I would deal with it. When people would comment on it, I would tell them that my friend allowed her sister to wear white since we all know that she won't get married. I said it much better than that. Soon it spread throughout the party. Problem solved. Focus was back on my friend after people heard about her good deed. It got back to Abby when people were telling her that it was okay that she doesn't marry. That it was so nice of her sister to allow her to wear white. I have been getting text after text from her for embarrassing her, and my friends think that I should have just spilled wine on her instead of saying that no one will marry her. Alright folks, what do you think of this one?
Not the jerk. I think it's a clever way and less obvious than the spilling wine on someone.
Yeah, I mean, spilling wine on someone is certainly going to cause a scene, even if it's temporary, whereas this just kind of like made it an embarrassment for her, right?
Right, because her goal was to steal the show, and so OP made it, she got attention, but it wasn't the kind she wanted.
Yeah, and I think that she wanted attention. She sure got a lot of attention. And I think that, again, this was actually a really clever solution to the problem, because now the sister is going to be embarrassed by this for a long time, and I don't know. I think that this is a perfectly acceptable way to fight fire with fire.
Right, maybe she'll think twice before trying to sabotage the next event.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, again, I feel bad for the bride, because her sister shows up and it was trying to cause a scene here, but, you know, there's not too much you can do in those kinds of situations other than cause a scene or do what OP did, I guess, right? But even there, still it's disruptive because now you have to take pictures and the sister is going to be in those pictures with a white dress, but she can always get them photo edited too,
yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure most photographers, if they see a guest in white, will just be like, you want me to edit that for you, change the color of that dress?
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And M. Fruitfly says, not the jerk. This is the perfect way to deal with this. If you had spilt wine on her, then you would have created an actual scene at the wedding. Big spill, screaming and yelling, bride having to get involved, and everyone would know exactly what you did, and it would be talked about at the wedding. Plus, you would still get these angry texts. Instead, you did something that didn't disrupt the day. It moved through the conversations just as quietly and as much as people pointing out that the sister was in white. And it caused zero disruptions at the wedding. Just quiet conversation that was going to happen anyways. Plus, the only person that looked foolish was the sister. And she did that to herself by wearing white. And my poor nerve says, and the friend comes across as looking very indulgent and kind. It was a master class move. And Euthanasia63 says, you handled it, and now the bride looks generous, understanding, and compassionate of her spinster sister. And the white dress drama llama looks like an object of pity. Ha ha ha. The sister chose to wear white on purpose. She could have worn literally almost anything else. She asked for it. She can take the hit, not the jerk. And my poor nerve says, the punishment fits the crime. Sister getting all the attention that she wants, just not in the style she was aiming for. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling People I Can't Have Kids? I can't have kids, and it's been a thing that I've dealt with my whole life. When I was in my teens, I had this issue. I'm not going to go into details, and I had to get both of my testicles removed. Now I've got these prosthetics, and I'm on hormonal replacement therapy. I generally don't openly share this as I feel it is a personal matter. The only ones who know the details are my parents and my wife. She learned about it when we started dating because I prefer to be upfront about it. Fortunately, she has always been very understanding. Having children was never a priority for her, and since I can't, it worked out well for both of us. However, since we got married, a few things have become a bit uncomfortable. The first 2 years were fine, but recently, it seemed like a switch has been flipped in the minds of the people that we know. Almost everyone now asks us, when are you going to have kids? We usually respond that it's not our plan and try to steer the conversation somewhere else. However, some individuals are persistently annoying, saying things like, oh, but you guys need to, or you'll never be complete without kids. It's starting to bother me quite a bit. So last week, during a meeting with a couple of friends, someone brought up the topic. Admittedly, I was already having a rough day, and when they asked us about having kids, I, against my better judgment, said, well, never. I can't have kids. I'm sterile, and I don't even have testicles. So if you could kindly stop bothering us about it, I would really appreciate it. As you can imagine, that comment really soured the mood for the entire evening. People got very upset and uncomfortable, to the point where both my wife and I decided to leave. I apologized to my wife, who seemed unbothered, claiming that they had it coming. But I am aware that people in our friends group have been talking behind our backs. They say that I was rude and acted like a jerk, insisting that they couldn't have known, and were just looking out for us. Now, I do feel like a jerk for the way that I spoke. I could have communicated more civilly, especially for my wife's sake. She enjoys the meetings with our friends, and I doubt it will happen much in the near future until this blows over. Anyhow, Reddit, am I the jerk? Also, forgive me if the text doesn't make much sense. English isn't my native language, and I tried using one of those syntax tools, but I'm not sure if it really worked. I say it worked just fine. More people should use these syntax tools. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. People have to understand that not everyone is going to want to have kids or be able to have kids. And when someone says, oh, I'm not having kids, that should be the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because pretty much nothing short of telling them, oh, I literally cannot have kids, will stop these people.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you say that, they're like, well, I couldn't have known. They get all upset and offended. And like this exact situation plays out. It's a no-win situation.
Yeah, well, they were trying to steer the conversation away from it, and people should pick up the hint that this isn't a topic of conversation that they really want to get into, and yet people continue to persist with it. And I don't think that OP was in the wrong for finally snapping and blowing up, because at the end of the day, really, it was none of their business as to why they wanted to have kids or not have kids. And it's just really no one's business except for the couples. And the fact that they continued to push really opened them up for this invitation of the explanation for it, the gory details, so to speak.
Yeah, and not everyone needs to have kids. Like, if you want to have kids and you enjoy being a parent, that's fantastic. But to try and insist that, oh, your life won't be complete without kids, it's really hurtful to people who, especially people who want to have kids and can't have them, to be told they're lesser than. And I've read a statistic, I think it's something like 10% of couples have fertility struggles. Like, a lot of the people still go on to have kids, but it's a struggle for them. Just such a cruel thing to do to people.
Well, and my take on this is this. Part of life is finding your own meaning. And sometimes people derive meaning from having children. Sometimes people derive meaning from being an artist and, investing all their time and energy into their art or some other thing. And there is no one who can say that one way is better than another way. It's really subjective, because you really need to make your own decisions in life about what your goals and expectations are. And if having kids is something that is meaningful and fulfilling to you, then that's great, and that should be something that you do then. And if having kids is not that important to you and not as fulfilling as some of the other things in your life, that doesn't mean that you're selfish or any number of things. It just means that you have different goals and priorities in life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that there needs to be people on both sides, and that's just the way life is sometimes. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Flo Mojo Blow says, not the jerk, not rude at all. Whether or not you're able to father children is your story to tell and no one else's. Nothing wrong with someone asking you once when you're going to have kids, but when they persist, it's rude and crossing a boundary. Hopefully you shut them down and you won't hear any more about it. If people in your friends group are gossiping about you behind your backs, then that shows you how much of a friend they really are. Choose friends wisely. And Suleode says, yes, And how were these other people looking out for them by pestering them about having children? Did they think that OP and their wife were just forgetting to have adult intimate time and needing a reminder so that one day they could be like, oops, we should have tried to procreate? And Clean Patient 8809 says, this reminds me of the friends who had trouble conceiving. When the questions got to be too much, the wife of the pair would say, well, we keep kissing and nothing happens. And that cured a lot of people of their nosiness. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Defending My Mother-in-Law After She Kept Saying That My Daughter Looks Nothing Like Me? I'm not sure what crawled up my mother-in-law's butt, but her and I got along so well before I got pregnant. She called me her daughter, she came over to see me all the time, and called me randomly just to talk, told me that she loves me all the time, etc. But after I got pregnant, something switched in her. She stopped calling, she never said I love you back when I said it, she only came over to see my husband, and 9 times out of 10, it was trying to get him out of the house to go with her. Barely gives me hello, goodbyes, in passing. She even tried staying in the labor and delivery room after she was already told no because her baby needs support, and clung to my husband's arm several times trying to get him to go sit on the couch with her instead of standing by me where he was. She was kicked out by the nurses. Since I had my daughter 3 months ago, she has come over a good 10 to 15 times and has literally only held my kid twice. She just follows my husband around everywhere and still tries to get him to leave with her and go and do chores and tasks for her. Changing tires, changing oil, fixing her computer, moving around her house, etc, etc, etc. And honestly, none of that bothers me nearly as much as her comments about how my daughter looks nothing like me and looks exactly like her and my husband. For a bit of context, my husband looks nothing like his mom. He is a spitting image of his father. His mom is short, blonde, and has brown eyes. He is super tall, black hair, green eyes. You can't even tell that they are related at all, but insists that my daughter looks just like her and my husband, and looks nothing like me. She made these comments more times than I can count, and I just give a, yeah, okay, Becky, and I leave it. But yesterday, I hosted a dinner for the family, and obviously invited her. She shows up with a scrapbook album with a bunch of photos of her and my husband from birth to present. She was showing and telling everyone who would listen that my daughter was basically not even mine if you go off of looks. My husband spoke up a few times with a clip that she actually looks like my wife, but his mom didn't acknowledge him. But then she goes to my mom, and my mom, being a no BS woman, said, are you blind or are you just ignorant? That girl looks just like my daughter and nothing like you. Kinda weird to me that you're desperately pushing this narrative that the baby looks like you and your son, considering you and your son look nothing like each other. No one in the house said anything, but a few of them chuckled. My husband also didn't say anything, but he looked like a deer in the headlights more than anything. My mother-in-law then left. She group texted my husband and I later saying that she will never forgive us for not defending her against my mom, making a scene and embarrassing her in front of everyone. I don't feel bad, my husband does. Am I the jerk? Edit to add, she has 4 kids, my husband is the youngest, he's 27. Her 2 daughters have 1 child each, both 12-year-old girls. Her other son has 5 kids. She takes her daughter's kids once a month. She has never made a conscious effort with any of her other son's kids, outside of his oldest, 9-year-old female. She doesn't act like this with her other kids at all. She acts uninterested altogether. Ages, not sure if it's relevant. Mother-in-law is 61, my mom is 44, and my husband and I are both 27. Alright folks, what do you think of this one?
Not the jerk. There was nothing to defend here because what mother-in-law was saying was ridiculous and she deserved to be called out. And honestly, I think OP's husband needs to step up a bit more with this because I know he is like, oh, yeah, mom, no, actually, she does look like my wife, is not, the message isn't getting through. There are no consequences for her repeatedly acting like, oh, this baby is really just mine and my son's baby. It has nothing to do with OP.
Well, I think this should have ended long before the baby was even born, right? And I think that her son should have put his foot down a long time ago. And the fact that he isn't standing up to his mom is a point of concern. And I think that OP and her husband need to kind of talk about this, maybe even potentially go into couples counseling if they can to work on these situations, because this is just not acceptable. And I certainly understand that this is a frustrating situation for OP, but again, this is something that her husband needs to take care of and work with.
Yeah, and I mean, mother-in-law, should probably get into therapy. Like, I'm not sure exactly what is motivating this. He is the youngest child, so it could be, losing her status as mom, kind of, to
Yeah.
now she's all grandma, and she's trying to reclaim that or something.
Yeah, well, I thought it was really strange because the thing is, like, usually this will be like, oh, the person cheated and this isn't my husband's son, a child or something like that, right? And whereas it's more like, oh, you look nothing like this child, so that can't be related to you. So it doesn't seem like it's about like lineage or any questions like that. It just seems like she has this strange mindset now.
Yeah, and it very clearly was triggered by the pregnancy. There's something about that set off something. And so I think talking to a therapist and trying to work through why she has these feelings, why she doesn't want to think of the baby as OPs, why she's trying to spend all this one-on-one time with her son.
Yeah.
Like, it may just be that he has responsibilities now and she doesn't like the fact that he can't drop everything and be with her.
Yeah, well, and then also another question I have is, did OP actually talk to the mother-in-law when she had the shift? Did she say, "Hey, what's the matter? What's going on here? Well, you seem to be acting really differently since I got pregnant. I thought you would be happy about this pregnancy," type of thing, right? And I'm not sure if they actually had a conversation like that, and that might have been a good way to open up a dialogue and try to kind of understand why the mother-in-law is acting cold and distant like this.
Yeah, it's not too late to have that conversation, although I would say the son should be the one because it's very clear that she has some animosity towards OP for one reason or another.
Yeah.
So, part of her son's duty now should be having that conversation with his mom, trying to get to the bottom of it, suggesting therapy if that seems appropriate, and
Yeah.
setting boundaries.
Yeah, a lot of boundaries. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber's got a jovial Amstein joke.
All right, we're on the last page of outrageous animal jokes. So, why should you expect to see pet hair on the couch?
Well, I can tell you exactly why you should expect to see pet hair on your couch is because your couch is actually a ginormous labradoodle, and so it's actually just your pet.
Because it's furniture.
Oh, it's furniture.
There's a little picture.
And I have Mega Mint. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday! Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it involve a white wedding dress.
If you wear a white dress to a wedding that is not your own and has not specifically been requested by the couple who are getting married, you can expect that things may not go very nicely.
That's some good moral advice. Things might not go well for you. You might have a bad time. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!